We're doing it in bean paints, and I'm trying out a new paper because when Laura sent the manganese blue a few weeks ago, she also included a whole bunch of paper, and so I am finally going to try it out. It's sort of the right size for this piece, and so I think it'll be great. Plus, it's been a very long time since I've painted with the beam paints. I just don't reach for them much. Well, I do reach for them. They're just like not what I use for Paint Your Style these days. So, we have a tripod that's leaning against the desk. There, now it is no longer leaning against the desk. So, I don't know what the right side of this paper is. I'm gonna guess, this side is the right side. Yeah, this side feels like it's probably the right side. I also haven't even tested this with tape. Like, this could be absolutely disastrous. We'll find out. It's one of those, we'll try. If it works, it works. If it doesn't, well, we tried. So, I'm gonna go in with 2 layers of tape. One, because I want a border, and the second one because I know that this is not gonna be enough to hold it down, but I'm really bad at getting an even border when I use this. So let's tape us out a nice little thing. I also don't have a clean palette. So far, I would say the tape is not adhering to this paper very well, which is interesting. I wonder if it's cotton rag, like not like Leather Village is. Let's see now if that's taped at the top, if I can fix this bottom line. I don't think I'll get a clean tape pull off of this, just based on how it feels. I think it's too raised for its clean tape pull. Oh, my tape broke. But it does have an interesting texture, so I am intrigued by it. The last couple pieces, like, we've sketched out horizon lines, we've sketched out buildings. We're not doing that here. We're just going in with paint. Amber painted this like 4 or 5 times. I was seeing her paint all these different versions of it, like the same sort of thing, and didn't realize why until Paint Your Style came out and realized that she just hadn't liked anything she painted for Paint Your Style. My rule with Paint Your Style is one and done. If I don't like the single thing I paint, too bad. We are doing one and done. It's rare that I do this whole like double tape thing, but I don't want this going anywhere, and I feel like it probably will. So let's tape this down well. And then we'll get into colors. So I have my beam paints. I've also borrowed Mom's. She has a few colors over here that I don't have. She has lots of the same colors as me, but she does have a few that I just don't have in my beam palette. So I've borrowed them because I don't actually have a black pigment from Beam. And I didn't realize that she had one. So I've borrowed it for this. I don't know that I'll need it, but I might. So there we go. How do I want to do this? Do I want to do this wet on wet? I think I might. So I'm gonna wet everything. I'm gonna grab one of the tiny, really annoying pipettes. This palette's tiny, tiny, tiny. This is a Beam Spectrum 11 palette second. I love it. Their second palette sales are one of my favorite ways to acquire paints. I think most of what I've purchased from them has been a second sale. I should probably take these all out. Either seconds of their palette sales or seconds of their paint stone sales. Both are a great way to acquire paints and build up your collection. Though I do have their Mayan Green, which was not a second, because I didn't have Mayan Green from anyone else, and I knew that it wasn't going to stick around long. So I did purchase their Mayan Green. I also have a mix of different packaging. I do prefer their old square pans. I get why they switched away from using them. Their square pans fit together really nicely. Their round ones don't fit together nearly as nicely. I also have their new ones where they've gone back to the wax versus the paper. Most of my pans are paper. Mayan Green is the new wax packaging, which is actually going back to what their old packaging used to be, and I really like it. The paint doesn't stick to it as much, and it doesn't absorb, whereas on this Blueberry Mountain you can see just like how much got absorbed by the paper. So I like the change of going back to the wax packaging. I do wish they were still square though, because they fit together more nicely in a tin. So let's finish wetting them all. All right. Do I just want to do this wet on wet? I think I do. So this is my very first time painting on this paper. Oh, it's got a much, I would say it's very similar to how Amber describes the Leather Village paper, where it's got like definitely much more prominent high and low spots. This is a Princeton Elite 1-inch. It absorbs quite a lot of water, actually. Not uncommon for a cotton paper, but different from what I've been working on. It absorbs more than Baohong does. So let's just start. We are going to start with Mars Black. And this is Pumpkin. This paper spreads. Not saying that's a bad thing. It's a thing. I wonder how much I can get this paper to lift. All right. Let's grab a Kleenex. Or actually, I've got colors are drying a lot lighter on this paper. Is so far my main thought. Like, stuff is so much lighter than I would normally expect it to be. Like, as a reminder, this corner is black. I will also say, like, it can't be worked as much as I normally need my project pages to be worked. All right, let's dry this and see where it takes me. So we're actually gonna leave it here, I think. Not because I'm not totally in love with it. Sorry, not because I love it, but because applying heat to it at all has sort of caused burn marks. So I don't know how much I'll be working on this paper because it doesn't seem to like heat. That being, and like, oh, like all the little fluffies are coming off. Okay, so that's better than other paper that I've worked on that's done like the little fluffy thing where it doesn't come off. So let's quickly make the color swatch card so that we know what's in here. We have pumpkin, we have magenta, we have poplar yellow, we have, I think, we have this, but I can't remember what you're called, so I'm gonna have to look at my sheet. We have this. Again, I can't remember what you're called. I'm gonna have to look at my sheet. I think you're violet. We have this. We have the other violet. I will say the one sort of frustrating thing about Beam is that like their batches aren't consistent. Both this and this are violet and they look totally different. One is very blue and the other is not. This is Blueberry Mountain. Then we have black. This is Mars Black. And we have light pink. So, let me pull up my spreadsheet so I actually know what colors I've grabbed. Watercolors. So this is Mars. Blueberry Mountain. Beam. Oh, this is fall. Fall poplar yellow. Oh, I don't know what blue this is. Actually, it's not labeled. This is violet. This is rose. This is pumpkin. Small. So I don't know what that is. It's actually not labeled on my thing. Again, this was a second, so not all the colors are what they're supposed to be potentially. And I think whatever was actually supposed to be in the palette didn't look like what mine was. So let's pull this tape. Oh, and we had tape bleed. We had so much tape bleed. We had tape bleed on every corner. Oh, that's a bit annoying, but sometimes it can't be helped. Sometimes it's just the texture of the paper where you get tape bleed. And I think that's what's going on this time, is that the paper is just too textured for the tape. I have to say, like, colors dried significantly lighter here, and it burned really easily. So I think I'd only use it for wet on dry work, just because for wet on wet work, I do tend to dry the page, because otherwise it takes a very, very long time to dry, and I only have one desk. So I think this paper probably lends itself more to wet on dry work than wet on wet. But it was fun to work on a new paper. I learned some things. I'm not unhappy with it. So thanks for watching this week's Paint Your Style. Let me know if you participate in the Paint Your Style challenges. I think they're sort of like a great mental exercise. It's fun to have a reference picture every week that isn't something that I pick, and I do really enjoy them. So thanks for watching.